Oh, is this thing on? Elbow, your sleeve, your shoulder. This may be the only hygienic shit that people hear. Preferably a tissue. Keep your shit in lockdown. And if you don't have to go in public, don't. I know a lot of you out there are going, fuck yeah, my time.
So, Cap, I am sure whatever you just said was absolutely lovely.
But none of it got caught.
Nope. Because when I got up to get away from my computer, I muted the desktop audio and not my microphone.
So, we're going to try that again. Welcome to Monday Night with the Escorts, everyone. I am your host,
JT
the
said he
DM,
heard it.
the Dire Bear GM. You heard the whole thing, JT? Like, all of it? I'll wait for confirmation on that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go through this whole thing.
Because I came back and my microphone was unmuted, and my desktop audio was muted, so I'm kind of like, fuck.
Okay. So once again, now is the best time. Now is the best time to play some D&D. Now, you'll notice our setup this evening is a little different. We have the absolutely fantastic and beautiful who is shoveling food into her face, but we love her anyways, Maddie, who is hosting for us tonight. You'll see Steve is in his own little box where he should be because we can't release that man in the world. It's just too much. We have Sarah, who is functioning within her little square or rectangle in this place. Eric, who really can't be contained, but we've bottled him into a small area. But you'll notice that Molly and Q are sharing a box. Somebody broke quarantine and went north of the border.
So the part that amused me, she said, we're practicing social distancing, and then I looked down below me on Zoom, and there's those two. I was like,
okay, so most of us are.
When I went
These
to
They're quarantining together.
They're quarantining together.
The travel advisory, and I was like, yeah. And she's like, all right. Give me my passport back. So.
Well, anyways, so we're happy to have everybody here with us tonight. We had some really fun things going on. In all honesty, the analog side of Dire Bear Adventure Company is still going strong. So that means Thursdays and Fridays at Lucky Dice Cafe, I'll still be there. Saturdays at Liquor Express, I'll still be there. So we'll still be there. Most of those places that we're talking to, and actually Huntsville, the town, they had a town hall meeting. And they said that they are not going to close anything right now. However, they are restricting the amount of people that you can have at a gathering before they'll shut down. They want to keep it small. So I consider what I do small. So anyways, come see us. Saturday at Liquor Express has been a big hit. If you did not get out there last Saturday, which I know most of you didn't because I was there, they had bangers and brews or bangers and drafts, and it was fantastic. They had like different samplings of sausage with flights of different beers that match with it, and it was really, really fucking good. So you missed out on something that was pretty amazing. as well as D&D. Anyways, enough about all that. Like I mentioned, if you did not catch it as you're just coming in, by the way, if you're out there, please retweet, spread the love, tell everybody we're going live right now. And if you did not hear the announcement earlier, the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo, which would be coming up in April, has been postponed to July. So keep that in mind. Shit got serious for everybody in the world whenever they realized that The Witcher 2 or The Witcher Season 2 has been postponed. Now, I'm okay with postponing a lot of shit. Check on Henry, make sure he's okay.
Are we sure they didn't just postpone that because Henry is too busy doing side quests?
Yeah, that's the joke.
He's playing a lot of Gwent.
He got caught up in it. He keeps having to bail Jaskier out of it. So anyways, we will continue to go live with all of our shows every night of the week. One, because none of us are in the same place. I'm looking at you two down with the colorful hairs. Like for me, they're down like there. Anyways, last time on our show, the Escorts, they met with Ezra's mom. They mounted up on a ship and sailed across the channel, taking them a bit of about 2 days. When they arrived at Clannig Keep, the only hospital, really the only inhabited place on Walsh Island, mostly because a lot of it is rock with a few scraggy trees, some active volcanoes further north, but the place itself is mostly uninhabitable. The keep itself, though, housed some individuals that they had never met before. They found out that there's a race there called the Maudlin. Yes, it is a Clagon keep. The Maudlin people, they've come to learn something interesting about as players, but their characters have not. Most interesting, though, they saw Hannah meet with one of the people there. And promptly, they absconded off somewhere. When asked, does she know she doesn't have the orb? But she didn't seem to be all that concerned about having said orb. The town is... What's that?
Sorry. To be fair, the last time she held it, she wasn't in a great place.
No, she was dealing with some demons after that. And right before that, too, as a matter of fact. With all of that in mind, you can see that the keep is exactly that. It is a large fortress area that has been made into a city. The roads are mostly cobblestones. There is a division of the town into multiple sections. So you have an outer wall with housing and markets and things in there, and then an inner wall that holds most of your upscale folk, your temples, your houses of state, and which are basically settled inside the largest part of it. A giant keep shaped sort of like an obelisk in the center. So it has four sides to it, and then it comes to a point, but it's not as tall as most of the obelisks you've seen. It's probably more squat, and it is surrounded by circular parapets, and then the walls would have the crenellation on the top of them that kind of circle around that. All in all, you can see that the keep itself is very defensible, having the wall with the bay and the wall that kind of can be closed up there. But you can go exploring wherever you would like. It is a mix of people. You see dwarves, elves, and halflings. You see the occasional half-orc. And even though you do see them here and there, the Maudlin people are sparse, and you notice that there will be small groups of them, and they kind of keep themselves apart from everybody else. It's not that they're like ignoring everyone else, but you can see that they kind of keep to themselves in and amongst. The only time that you've seen them really interact with anyone other than their own kind is whenever they, the one that you saw embraced Hannah. is there anything in particular that you would like to look for and or do while you are here in the town before we begin this evening's episode?
Satiel is going to take a moment to try to find someone who looks like they work in the library here.
Mm-hmm.
And
give me just an investigation.
okay. I believe he froze. There we go. He's back.
Investigation check, please.
Dirty 20.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you absolutely can. Looking around, you can see someone dressed in kind of plain clothes, plain garb.
Mm-hmm.
Asking a question, they tell you that they do work in a library in the keeps in the Acadium there.
Okay. Would it be possible for me to visit? There's something that I would like to research, if able.
Everyone is allowed entry into the library. No one is kept away from it.
Thank you. Would you mind pointing it out to me? Or is it in the keep itself?
Correct. Move your way through the inner gate, and the Acadium is within the keep itself. Send someone or tell someone, give them word of your intent, and they will guide you there.
Thank you. And then, without saying a word to anybody else in the party, he's just gone.
Your wizard is absconded with himself.
There he goes.
He looks like he's bloodhounding for a book. I smell pages.
Well,
Ooh, this book hadn't been cracked. The spines even.
That's some crisp knowledge right there.
I cannot imagine he's going to be too difficult to find.
Big enough library. Long enough time.
Yes, but if he's going to the library, there's only one library in town, so we at least know the location he's going to be in.
Were you worried you weren't going to be able to find him?
I mean, walk into a strange place and then everybody starts going off every which way, and well, some people get attacked by shopkeepers.
That seems strangely specific.
No, Ezra, we covered this.
Right. I also don't have a brain, it's fine.
Well,
I always forget.
I am going to attempt to find a leather working shop if anybody would like to join me.
I have all the leather I need right here, thank you.
Why does that sound oddly sexual?
Because it's mellow.
He is oddly sexual.
Are you asking that in character,
Yeah.
by the way?
Yeah, she is!
All you get is a shrug.
You know, I would ask why you're like this, but somehow I already know the answer, and it's not gonna change regardless of how many times I ask the question. So I'm just not gonna ask the question.
I feel like Mello's the guy that would say, "You do you, boo," but be the whitest dude in the room.
You boo do you.
Okay.
No, it didn't quite work.
Yabba dabba to no.
Trademarks, yay!
Well, I'm headed for a leather shop if anybody would like to join me.
Oh, that does remind me. So Ezra, I need something that I would, if you'd allow me to buy it off of you, I need it for, let's say, a parlor trick. Yeah. You know those gems that you got a while back? Just need one of them. It needs to be like
Um,
clear.
There should be.
And don't worry, it's not a parlor trick like, oh, it's gone, he's gone. Oh, no, it's. I'll pay you for it. You know.
I gave Satiel 2. I used 5. There should be 3 left, but I don't have them.
Are we gonna have to track down Satiel already?
Afraid so.
Well, at least we know where he went.
Are you sure about that? I'm like, about that.
His chair is empty, so we don't know where he went.
Yes, Satiel has them in his bag.
Oh, that'd take a while to look through anyway.
If we can make a stop. I don't mind. I don't have too much planned.
What do you and your mom have planned, frankly?
I think Mom is staying for a bit. I mean, if we plan on using her services again, I don't see why she wouldn't stay.
Wonderful. I mean, we are certainly going to need to get back at some point, right? The horses are still there. Of course.
Yeah.
I love your indecisiveness.
But just like, would Ezra like pick up on something there, or is he just dumb? Like, yeah, Mom's got a ship. Mom, can you pick us up? We're ready to leave.
It's like calling your mom from the mall when you were 14. You're like, Mom.
Mom, pick me up at this party. People are drinking.
No, loser, have a red cup and get in there.
Feels like Dalt more than Aelinor. Oh god.
That would be Dalt. Is that Ezra? Is that Ezra on the phone? Let me talk to him. Just give me the phone. Do you have a cup in your hand? No, loser. Get a cup and get back in there, you bitch.
Okay, Uncle Dalt.
There, I straightened it out. And Aelinor just looking at him like,
Fuck.
She's like, you are never gonna have kids ever.
yeah. First of all, how dare you talk to your nephew, my son, that way? Second of all.
But yeah, if we just go find Satiel, Mum should always be on her ship unless she has business in town.
Very good.
So.
Well, let's go to either the leather shop or the library, whichever's closer, and we'll
Start there.
Yeah.
Is Tonga joining us?
Am I there?
I mean, we were all together when we got off the
You
ship.
were all like off the boat, standing on the end of the pier.
Well then.
I mean, unless he just immediately dove into the water.
Yelling all the way down.
It's a
See you later.
I'll probably join them.
Okay. Making your way out into the marketplace. Satiel, you are zipping right along, and it is not hard to get there. It's like a main thoroughfare that leads all the way through the gates. The gates are thrown wide open as there's no real threat from internal. And you make your way up to basically the keep, and you can see the obelisk in the middle. Many more people dressed in the plain brown clothes, carrying medallions on the outside of their robes that look like almost like iconography, but it's the shape of the fort that they work at on the medallions, giving a clear indication that these are the people who operate that. Walking through, though, it's odd because you're used to seeing militia or local constabulary, somebody who keeps the peace, some sort of peacekeepers. You do not see any martial law or any sort of open carry. As a matter of fact, there don't seem to be a whole lot of weapons that are laid out here. And you continue to head your way into the library. You actually enter into what appears to be a hallway that is on the outside edge of the main building, and it seems to go in either direction. Along the way, you can see hanging plaques with numbers etched in them, starting at the lowest of being 001, and it goes all the way up to 100. And then the next one you see down the way has 101 to 200, and it continues on away around that way. On the right-hand side, you can see where it would have ended, the last number in the sequence, if you followed it around. And it seems to end at 999, not 1,000, 999.
Okay. So he'll try to find somebody and it's like, excuse me, I'm new to the keep and I would like some help finding the library.
They turn and motion to a very large archway that's kind of like right in the middle. Like pretty much where you're standing, like just opposite of you, about 30 feet in. Giant archway. They just kind of point there. And was there anything in particular that you were looking for?
Well, my current object of, I suppose, research would be to see if there may be any cause of sudden memory loss and knowledge contained within arcadiums and scriptoriums to suddenly disappear.
Not memory loss of a personal effect, as though someone lost their memory. That would be section 301 through 400.
One moment. I'm writing this down. In section 301 to 400. Okay.
Further studies of the interworkings of the cranial. There are some small studies not dealing with a medicinal purpose, but more of a psychological purpose. Those would be in the section marked 501 through 600. However, sub down to 501 through 532. As far as loss of knowledge in a book format, there are several sections that cover entomology, bugs, things like that would destroy books, if that's what you're curious about.
Second. No, it's more of the books remain, but the knowledge contained within just vanishes from the books.
That might be an unexplained phenomena, which happens to be right there, and he points to the last section, the last little plaque on your right, the one that would be marked through 999.
Okay. He'll sort of bow and say, well, thank you. I will get to researching.
Anything more you need, there is an information located in the center of the hub, and he points to the large archway, and you can see a circular contraption with several of the modeling that are working in there.
Okay.
All right. While you make your way through picking through books, let's go ahead and talk to the rest of the group. Zora, they have decided to go to the leatherworking shop. I assume that you're going along with them?
Yep, power numbers.
As Satio goes on by himself. Yes.
He's on a mission.
Yes, he is. Finding the market is easy enough to do. Finding someone who specializes in leatherworking, a tanner is not hard to find. More importantly, though, as you're walking by the tanner, you see what appears to be a man with a wagon. Well, at first you think it's a child with a wagon. And then you really think it's a very diminutive child with a wagon until you turn around and see the bright tousle of copper-colored hair that is on top of his head and the mutton chops that run down. A bulbous nose marks this gnome with big bushy eyebrows as he stands and looks at you. His wagon, a contraption, and is actually an altar to all things mechanized. It seems to be a wondrous work in and of itself that seems to jerk and move and jive as he sits there and pushes buttons and pulls knobs. It seems to be a cacophonous, fun-filled sight of whirling gears and things. There's an umbrella on top that is multicolored that spins brightly, and then steam emits from the back end of it. And then he kind of claps his hands and does a little dance. You can see he's got fingerless gloves, a bow tie on a grayed shirt with black suspenders down into pants that are rolled up. His brown shoes seem to be worn. You can catch the glimpse of a hole in the bottom side of them every once in a while. And there's a small stain or smudge of either oil or pitch or some other black substance that is on his clothing. He seems to be sitting on your way towards what is obviously the tanner, as you can see. A large wooden sign made out to be like a hide stretched across. As you approach, he takes a hat that he did not have previously on his head, spins it on one finger, and then grabs the brim of it and holds it out to you. A coin to see the show, lady. Sights and wonders you've never seen. A machine that can move on its own accord. Brightly dancing automatons.
Zoro will put a coin in.
And oh, how gracious! And he bows, spins the hat, and puts it on his head. And it's a little bowler hat. He walks over to it. Automatons? Yes. The dancing machines, and he starts to push in some knobs and pull some others out, and he turns a couple of dials, and it's a big covered wagon, but there in the front, just beneath where the seat is, you can see an etching of two doors, and suddenly the doors open up, and out marches two girls and two boys, but they are completely made of metal. They're probably about a foot tall each, and they go through a very programmed dance, but they bow to one another, swap arms, spin, turn, and they dance. The whole thing maybe lasts a minute and a half, and when they're done, they turn, lock their hands, bow to you all, and then turn and march back underneath the wagon, and the door closes again. Ah, yes, yes, there's a smattering of applause from people around. Once again, he spins the bowler off of his head and goes around through the crowd of about 6 people, not including your group, and collects a few coins. And he kind of looks down at it and smiles brightly, even though it's probably not more than a few copper. He puts the hat back on his head and he says, "Who loves music? You, sir." And he points at Mello. "You seem to be a music lover at heart."
I can many musics. And he hands him the silver.
Oh, he tucks it in the shirt pocket that you wasn't sure was previously there, but maybe it has been. But he tucks it into a pocket. He walks over to the side of the wagon, and he pulls 2 large levers. And as he does, you hear the sound of something releasing a catch, and down falls a large keyboard. And as it falls, it seems to break open and bring out some very large pipes that seem to stick up. He starts to play, and it's jaunty, and it's very just a really high energy tune. As he's playing, he takes one hand away and he continues to play, and the music starts. He then switches hands and he continues to play, and the music continues to go, and people are dancing and clapping. He keeps continuing to play, and then he takes both hands off, and the music continues to play, and he dances around, putting a finger on his head as he does, kicking his heels up and everything. Eventually he comes back to playing, and he stops, and the music stops, and you watch as the pipes fold and the keyboard folds back up. Ah! And he takes his hat off again. A little less coin this time, and he kind of goes, okay. You want to see more? All right! Okay, give me a moment. And he kind of pops around to the back, and you see the door open, and he clambers inside, and you hear the sound of metal clanking and wood things being shuffled around. And he
That's
comes back.
concerning.
The next thing you know, he emerges from the top of it. And he's holding on to a metal rail made of copper. And he has his hand on it. And he says, "Now, with my next trick." And he takes his hat off and he puts it down and he mops at his brow with a kerchief that you don't know where it came from, but he tucks it back into his pocket. And he says, "My next trick may be my greatest one and last one ever." And you watch as he pulls this wand out of his hand. And it's probably about that big around. So it's a pretty thick wand. And you can see that the whole tubing of it is made out of metal. And he has it attached to a wooden piece that he has his hand on. It's not curved like this. It's kind of straight off from it. But you can see that there's a little triggering mechanism. And as he does, he takes a deep breath and holds it up in the air. And he says some nonsensical magical word. And as he does, he fires. And you watch as one orb of orange streaks out. And then another orb of green. And then another one of blue. And then a pink. And then a white. And as they reach the apex, it looks like they're about to fall down. Each one of them bursts. Showering down sparks of the same color, and immediately there's a rainbow that seems to be floating of sparks that burn out before they get down to anyone. He once more takes a bow. He tucks the wand into his belt and climbs back down into the wagon. Again, you hear more bustling and moving about and things like that. And then you hear, "Go, everything's all right, folks. I'm just putting out a small issue." Yes. And he steps out of the wagon. Ta-da! You can see at the edge of his elbow, there is like a singe mark. As he walks over and he says, impressive. Yes. No. Okay.
Zora's
Oh,
gonna
I'll give him
put
5
a
platinum.
in the hat.
Platinum.
I'm gonna throw some platinum, yeah.
As
Yeah.
you put the platinum in his head, he goes, "Ugh."
I'll
He
remove
takes
some
one out.
honor.
I'll throw in 3 platinum.
You throw in 3 platinum, and his eyes get wide, and he's like,
Oh,
"Is
I
there
can't.
any?
It's not my sheet. You'll have to do
Is
that
there any sort of way I can repay you other than a show, a magical artifact, or something that might be in my stock?" And he walks over to the other side, and he unlatches the ends of it, and it folds out. And as it does, the legs appear, and the shelves slide out automatically. And you can see that there is. Have you seen the odds and ends Depot where they have all the screws and like all the extra bits you need? Part of it looks like that. Part of it, screw of any size. And then he's got some tools that are hanging on the pegboard. This is clearly not a stock so much as it's like his workbench, but you do see a couple of items on there.
Hello, a man with a plan.
One of them looks like, for all intents and purpose, like a Gerber multi-tool. So it has like multiple heads on it and things like that. And he actually has it unfolded so you can see all the different things in there. He's like,
Well, I hate
Can I-
to take something away from you that you would need.
"Oh, I've got more of those." And he pulls one out of his pocket that's attached to a chain. He lets go and it retracts down, but it kind of like falls, it hits him in the side, and he's like, "Oh, remind me to loosen the tension on that."
You wouldn't happen to have a set of master plans for all of this, would you?
But of course, I do. I can. Let me just. And
Yeah,
he
definitely.
walks back to the back of the wagon and climbs in. And again, you can hear. This time, you actually see something that looks like one of the old school wooden or metal tops, where you push the handle down on it, makes it spin. You see it come flying out. There are other little knickknacks in there. A wooden doll missing a leg, and it comes flying out and like clunk, clack, clack. He leans out. Sorry, Brom. I'll get you in a moment. He comes back into the wagon, starts looking through some other things. He comes back out.
So we're just kind of picking up the little things that keep flying out. Like, oh, geez.
He comes back out, and to keep in mind, he's like just under 3 feet tall, and he's like got these big plans and like rolled up in parchment, and he comes out with them. Are you looking to buy the entirety of the set, or just one or two of them? I can open them, and as he starts to try to like get them up, it's the whole. This is where I would hold all my plans if my. Anyways,
Oh, I'll help him hold them.
they start to fall. Oh, thank you.
I'll just like crouch down and start just like holding them. I've got big hands. They probably fit all of them, right?
Oh yeah, easily enough. Sure.
Like a flat table.
The workbench will work well enough for that.
Just helping him for now. Seems like a good man. He's got little robot mouths to feed.
Zastari is actually looking specifically for the one that's the retractable chain. If he has a specific plan for that.
Oh, yes. Yes, he does. So it is, it's a circular apparatus. Within it, you see a fine chain, and it is on a coiled spring. And so whenever you draw it out, it will go to the end of it. And by the time it finishes uncoiling the rope, it has reached the end of the coil for the spring, which then pulls back, retracting all of the chain back in. And his looks like it uses just good old-fashioned pocket chain for like a pocket watch.
Okay. You wouldn't mind if I copied this down, would you?
I tell you what, I'll sell it to you, and it'll be yours.
Okay.
How about... And he kind of... Man, I can make those, but I haven't been really selling them that well lately. 4 gold, and I'll give you the plans.
I'll give you a platinum piece if you also give me the plans for your little automatons.
No audio. Anybody else?
No. That was just I wasn't speaking loud enough. My microphone's above me, trying to reduce how much is in front of my face.
I got you.
Well, I'll give you 2 platinum if you also give me the plans for those lovely little automatons.
I'm sorry. I thought I heard a number, but let me ask you if you could repeat that for me again, please.
2 platinum.
He takes a moment and goes, I'm sorry, it sounded like you said 2 platinum.
That is
okay.
What I said.
Oh, good. I've not lost my mind completely yet. 2 platinum for all of for the plans for the automatons.
And this.
I will happily part with that. The automatons. I'll give you a copy of the plans for that.
Fair enough.
All right. Return here tomorrow, and I'll have the copies for you.
You will be here tomorrow.
It's an island, and there's not much in the town, and I didn't have money for a boat. I'll be here tomorrow.
Just to be safe, because I'd rather be, shall we say, prudent in my purchasing. I will give you 1 platinum now, and I'll give you the 1 platinum when you hand me the materials tomorrow.
I'm amicable to this deal. And so you make your exchange. He seems giddy. The rest of you need. Oh, Brom! And he walks over and picks up the wooden statue, the wooden doll.
It up and hands it to him.
Oh, Brom, are you okay, dear boy? The statue doesn't move or anything. He's just kind of like, huh, and he sets him up carefully on the back step of the wagon. Brom has been my boon companion for years. Not much of a talker. He's brushing like dirt off of the wooden. You know how whenever you throw something down on the it gets like little flecks of the stone in it. Oh, what have I done? I'll have to sand your face and replace that part. You're missing a leg. No, wait. You've always been missing a leg. All right. So, any of you turners by the chance? A pole turner, woodworker, carpenter by trade? No.
I can do pottery.
Brom, how would you feel about a ceramic leg? No. No, thank you.
Oh,
He says he's not a porcelain doll, so
but he'd only be part porcelain.
porcelainish?
Hmm?
But it's your leg, Brom. I know you've gotten by this far without two of them. But that's because I carry you, you dummy. That's a joke because...
Might make him a little bit more sturdy. Maybe he
Hmm?
wouldn't fall as much.
The tall, horny one has a point. Sorry, the tall one has a point.
What did he call you?
He turns and looks at you for a moment as though he just saw you for the first time. Looked you up, and again, remember, how tall are you? You like tower over him.
8'1" with the horns.
So he's like looking at your kneecaps,
8'1" or
or just,
7'1"?
he's like looking at your thigh. He's like, oh. I don't think he eats gnomes. Do you eat gnomes?
I never have.
Let's not start.
I don't.
7.
Oh, 7'1" with horns. Okay, perfect.
We're rather small. You'd have to have a whole group of us.
I do have an empty stomach all the time.
I feel that one gnome would only rouse your appetite without bedding her back down properly. No, he doesn't eat gnomes.
If
Zora's
it's
kind of just
frightful,
shaking
I
her
could
head at this point.
change it.
What did Zora say?
She's just shaking her head at this point, like,
Zora, I'm just gonna be in the tannery.
okay.
I'm probably gonna be there for most of the day.
Okay. You have. Do you want to meet up back at somewhere? Are we meeting somewhere by the end of the day?
I
The
can
ship,
meet
or-
everybody at the keep for dinner.
That would make sense.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm just going to go do that. And she just quickly heads off into the tannery. She is just looking for somewhere to be able to work, to do what she wants to do, and she couldn't do that on the ship because there just wasn't really a good spot for her to do it without damaging the ship. And we saw what happened when Satil almost did something to the ship. So she's like, I'm just gonna wait till we hit land then. It's all like
It's
patterned
probably
and
for
ready
the
to
best.
go, but she needs to be in somewhere where she can actually do cutting and all of that. So
Okay.
she's
So
going to
you're
be
heading
there
over
for
there.
most of the day. That is
Yeah,
what she's doing.
you're buying the materials from
She
them
has
and
the
renting
materials.
the workspace.
She just needs
Oh,
a
that's right.
workspace.
Okay, so you're just renting the workspace.
Yeah.
Hi, Yosh. All right. The gnome is entertaining. He's asking again if there's anything in particular that he could offer the rest of you who are there. Perhaps a hat.
Could he make a chef's hat?
A toque. Toque. The
Yeah.
chef's hat. No,
No.
not really.
I've never
Unless
seen
you
those
want it
in a
made out of metal.
Oh, I don't think he'd like that.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
But it would be funny.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe an. Let me get my
Iron
uncle a new
chef.
knife.
Yeah. Did you say the Iron Chef?
Belts upgraded.
I am Iron Chef. He just puts on the armor like Tony Stark.
Like a metal apron.
Yes. The arms are Gensu's and different bladed weapons he can use.
Just gets like blade attachments. I
Yeah.
thought they were useful at the time. He's just standing there like barely lift.
Dalt's looking at you like his arms are down by his side. He's like, I can't move.
I can't. Goes right.
No, they're automatic. You just tell him to chop. Chop. Starts walking around. I can't stop them.
Poor Dalt.
I've tried yelling stop. Yeah, no. The key word to get them to stop is cucumber for some reason. Anyway, persimmon. The arm stop.
That's the weirdest safe word.
Is it though? Is it?
I mean, let's be honest, safe
Pineapples.
words should be weird so that you are forced to just stop because it was weird.
Cuts into the movie.
Ow, bad pain. That's usually a good indicator. No, stop. All right, so anything that you would like to purchase from the crazy little gnomish man who is talking to his doll?
The little wooden top. How much is that?
Free, take it. Your friends have been far too kind, and he shakes the bowler. Every time he puts the bowler on his head, you think the money's just going to fall out. But then he takes it off, and the money's still in there. He just kind of shakes it, puts it back on.
He
You've
kind
been
of gives
too
him a little
kind.
nod of thanks and puts it in the pocket.
As you do, you hear, I'll make you another one. Yes. What do you mean it wasn't it was your favorite? Oh, it came from the same wood that you were carved from. Oh. But she gave us a lot of platinum.
Just because it can't. Zor's like, it can't get any weirder. She's gonna cast detect magic. Does the doll ping?
The doll does ping magic.
Huh.
She did offer you to make a porcelain leg. I mean, that's the price of the wood alone. Fine. Brom says to take very good care of the top.
I
It
will
might
make
have been a brother of
sure.
his.
I will make sure it is given to a child that will treasure it.
A child, see, Brom. Oh. No.
Is there something Brahm would rather have done with it?
Nope. That's fine. Children should play with toys.
I feel like Brom just insulted this man. Damn. Does he want a porcelain leg? Not if he's gonna be mean.
Kind of gives a nod to the gnome and then also kind of a little bow to Brahm. I'll make sure its importance is understood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the doll does not move in any way,
Yeah.
shape, or form, but you get the sense that it acknowledged your bow, even though it didn't move. Like it understood what you were doing. Maybe that's just the fact that you know it's magical of some sort.
She's played enough talk on the fake phone with her nieces and nephews.
Yeah. All right. Remember, I don't care how big you are. If a 3-year-old offers you a phone, you answer it.
Mm-hmm. Or
All
a
right.
bowl of fake food.
That's right. Or a cup of tea. All right. The leather shop has no problem acquiescing to your request. They have enough room for you to work. They even loan you some of the tools if need be. Like anything larger that you may not have, but would make use of. The rest of you, that would be Mello, Ezra, Tangaroa, Zora. What are you guys doing?
The gems.
Oh, you're going after the gem, so you have to find your buddy. Hello, buddy. All right, you make your way to the keep. Big keep, can't miss it. Large keep. Hi, Tim. I didn't see you waving earlier. You make your way to the keep, and sure enough, much like before, you can find inside the main obelisk this hallway that runs left and right. and then there's a large archway in front of you that seems to go down these rows. You can see a desk in there and 3 of the Maudlin folk who are working there.
Hello.
One of them lifts his head, and again, you can see that canine-like features of like a domesticated dog. Kind of looks up at you. The snout's a little wider. The ears are a little longer, and there's like a nice coat of swirly, thick fur all over there. Smiles at you and narrows his eyes. Well, hello. How may we be of service?
We're actually looking for a friend of ours. He would have been very enthusiastic about,
Learning.
knowledge.
You yourself are not very enthusiastic about learning.
I very much am.
We enjoy the
Um,
prospect, but our current concern is our friend.
We're just here to get something from him.
All right. You watch as the one that you're talking to kind of closes his eyes and holds his hands up. And then he folds them up again. You'll be looking for him in. Which hall are you in? Are you in the first one still? It's probably been about the better part of an hour after all the shenanigans that they went through.
Knowing him, probably in the first hall for right now.
Okay. Look for him in go back out the main door. Immediately take a right. You'll see the hallway that's labeled 001 through 100. He'll still be in there.
Perfect.
Oh, wait. Is that where you were at? No, you were not.
Nope.
There. You were at 300. I'm sorry, 300. Yeah, 301 to 400. Sorry. When you said first one, my brain just immediately latched onto the first one that was there. You'll find him in hall 300 through 401.
You have over 300 halls here?
There are roughly close to, but not quite approximately, 1,000 markings in different doorways and halls and shelves and books for you to search through. You'll find him in the 300 range. Please, if you need anything else, please find one of our representatives. You can see them wearing the brown robes with the medallion with the fort on it.
You know, if you get books right here, you could be considered the honorary thousandth.
Through the archway to your right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Goodbye. Grabbing Mello by the back of the collar and just dragging him out.
Is there anything you want me to roll to see if I find anything right now? And
Yes, investigation.
Okay. 21.
21. Several books that talk about the deterioration of the brain due to advanced aging and other various diseases of the mind that talk about losing like spots of your mind, like places in your head, like memories within your own body, but not on missing from a text. However, there are several mentions of several studies. These are almost written like medical journals we have today, where they did studies on different people. And one of the things that they mention is in some cases of the elderly who are exposed to strenuous circumstances through the larger part of their life, such as constant stress and things like that, the mind has a way of being stretched thin, causing issues where memory lapses happen. They forget names, they start to see things or misremember things. It seems like their mind can't hold within the dimensions with which it is given.
Okay. And from his father's message, these are just random people that are losing their memories of.
Yeah.
Okay. He'll just move on to the next bit.
All right. As you are exiting from your hallway after studying for several, you nearly run to Mello, Zora, Tangaroa, and Ezra.
Hello.
Fancy seeing you here.
Are you muted?
He is
Yes.
muted.
Let's go. I highly
I was
doubt that, considering you were standing right behind me when I asked where this was.
Okay.
Fancy
you
seeing
want?
us here.
What do you want?
The gems that I gave you, we still have 3 left, right?
Do you want them all?
Just one, if that would be all right.
He reaches out, pulls out one.
Thank you.
I have
Very
to get
good.
back to my studies
Thank
now. Goes to the next hallway and just
luck.
disappears.
Goodbye.
So, let me explain how this works. The fortress itself makes use of interdimensional pockets with which to hold information. They are not infinite, though. They have a finite amount of space for each one, which is why there are so many of them. But as you enter in, each one unfolds into a large rectangular room, probably 80 feet abreast by about 50 feet across. So you're looking at 80 feet long by 50 feet wide, and it is full of shelves. When I say shelves, the ceilings in here are probably 15 feet tall. And so you're climbing on ladders and moving and things like that. However, each one of the sections is neatly organized by some sort of alphabetical situation. Within each one of the sections, you can see no fewer than 2 of the attendees to the Acadium as they are looking around and making sure that everything is tidied. Their job is also to be anchor points to keep the dimension open. So there will always be at least one, but usually they have 2 people in there so that they can relieve one another as need be. And they are masters of their particular section. Ask them about anything else, they'll probably go, man, you'll have to go see that attendee. So they are the ones that are helping you find each one of these. So as you leave that hallway, your body has this weird sensation of stepping across, like stepping through a membrane. Doesn't leave any film or anything on you, but it's just that kind of like dimensional shift. It's not something that you're unfamiliar with, having used spells like Misty Step or, not really teleport because you're not that high of a level, but you know what I mean.
He has Thunder Step, so he knows how to use that too.
Yeah, exactly. A lot less with the thunder, a lot more with step. So as you move around into the next section, you can see that there are 2 more of the attendees who are in a heated discussion over knowledge. It sounds like a very scholarly debate. It's nothing pertaining to anything you're studying. It seems to be about the properties of magic and how the innate ability of sorcerers versus the studied versions of wizard, and if there is one that is truly better than the other, since they're both tapping into the weave and they both have an understanding of the martial use of magic. Is it really make one better than the other than the fact that the scholar can take the time to learn more intricacies and have a larger so that it's just a conversation the 2 are having.
Hearing that, Satya will pause and go, well, wizards typically practice their various traditions and spellcrafts through use of knowledge and learning. However, sorcerers can take that knowledge, while less of it than a wizard might have, but can bend it and reshape it away from its original intent to their own will. Both are strong in their own elements.
They both look at you, and then they try to draw you in into the conversation.
Unfortunately, I am on a mission of my own. I am looking for any tomes that might have knowledge of folks that just randomly lose their memories, no specific age, and I know that the other one I need is an unexplained phenomenon, but of books that just suddenly lose all the information contained within them.
That is an interesting point that you bring up. and they both start to have a conversation about a location, but finally the taller of the two, and they're both modeling, and they both have this similar, appearance about them. But the one of them runs over and clambers up the ladder and then comes back down, holding an older tome in his hand, and he hands it to you. This one discusses the this one discusses the use of and the application of particular magics to remove the memory. Now, more importantly, though, is the talk of if this gets out of hand, how it might affect individuals who are there.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for the input into our conversation.
Were I not on a mission that requires this kind of research, I would chip in and have a thrilling scholarly debate. But unfortunately, my home is in danger. So.
Well, we don't want your home in danger.
And he goes find a place to read.
All right. There inside, there's plenty of spots for you to sit and look through things. So, as you sit and look through it, you can tell that it is just a study of the particular magics that can alter the memory of individuals and how to use that. Anyways, you kind of lose yourself in that book.
Yeah, he's going to memorize that thing front and back.
Yeah, for a while.
That sounds more promising than what he'd been finding before.
All right. The rest of you, the crew that isn't involved in studying or making items, what are you what are you four doing?
I think I want.
Say again.
If they have something that I might be interested, would I have to go back to that
something you're interested in
area?
We're cutting out for the first half of that. Say again, please.
Well, yeah. If they would have some reading or something that I was interested in.
You would probably have to determine, like, what are you interested in?
I want to see if there's anything about my people.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely ask the front desk and they'll tell you where that location is.
Okay. Well, then I will go back and I will ask if there's anything about the Rongolesu people or the Taimona Islands.
He does you see him just kind of stare at you for a moment and then like narrow his eyes and then open them again and says, your people can be found in section 601 through 618. The geography of the location can be found where most of the geography is located in the 800 section. Please see the attendees in those appropriate locations for your information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will go to the the one about the people first.
Okay.
In the 600s. And just ask the attendees there if they know if there's anything about Rongolesu people.
All right. The attendee looks at you for a moment, nods and smiles, recognize one of those, and immediately moves over and climbs up a ladder and takes a couple of books out, and they're rather small. They're more like journals, and hands them to you for you to read. Just flipping through them, you can see that there's a lot of very accurate information. There's some inaccurate, but most of it is pretty good. It's pretty on the nose.
What language is it in?
It is written in common.
I can't read that.
Oh, you can't read it. You can speak it, you just can't read it.
Yeah. Me? What? Ezra. Yes.
I won't ask you to read all of these books in their entirety, but if you could just skim the parts really lightly that talk about the Romulesi people and tell me, are they good? Bad?
Um,
Please.
sure, but why can't you read it?
Because it's in common.
Have we gone over that you can't read common with the group?
I
I think it was just Satael.
had you read the menu to me.
Mm.
I also couldn't read the contract and said that I couldn't read it out loud.
That's true. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't remember if the whole group knew. Okay. Yeah. I
Don't
don't
be mean, Sarah. He's also 19, so.
I am Tangeru. I'm 19 and never learned to read.
Hey, what's up?
Tonga can't read. So, reading over the book out loud for Tonga, really the only information that they have incorrect is that like you file your teeth and there has been reported cases of cannibalism and things like that.
No, they've been like that for as long as I can remember.
They also talk about like there's no information about where your origins are from. The most offensive thing you can find, though, is in the third book, which is a smaller one, and it seems to be the journals of an individual. Who seems to be traveling the world, collecting information about people, akin to Volo from Forgotten Realms, but not quite as cheeky. Talks about the primitive nature of your people, how you don't use iron and metals and things like that. That it's quaint to see how primitive they are, making use of those things that they can find and turn from the sea. I watched them use shields made from shells of giant crabs. The carapace of other creatures is their armor. They use the teeth of animals to be their weapons, and wood. It's quaint. Although I would think that up against a society of people who have far more technology, that they would probably be overrun.
Does it say when that was written?
Well beyond you or your dad's lifetime. It's probably about. Let's see, how old was your dad again?
My dad is like 42, 43.
Okay, so yeah, it was written about 56 years ago.
Probably when like my great grandfather was war chief.
Possibly. But yeah, I mean, most of it's accurate here in the Acadium.
Interesting.
You take out your pen and start marking through those things. We tough as fuck. You want?
The Romulus
All in
people
primordial.
are the coolest people.
Yeah,
and
written
they're
all in
the
primordial.
cutest looking and the most popular.
Oh God, compensating hard there, aren't we?
But is it all in the margins or just over the other text?
It's written in a completely different
It's
language,
all in the
anyways.
margins and it's all in like aqua and primordial, so it just doesn't look like anything.
It's just pictures of waves
And fish.
and fish.
Somehow, middle fingers.
Oh God.
Just angry picture, like angry stick figure of Tangaroa with like the gills on the side going.
I just keep, like, watching
With like the fins on the side.
Should you really mark that up? Wait.
All right, well, you two are over there are desecrating books.
I'm not.
You're watching it and you're not stopping it, so you're good.
Accessory.
I'd do the same if I went and looked up my tribe. So, actually, I'd burn the section, so it's fine.
Because you don't want to read about your people.
Yeah. Actually, I might be curious. I'll go look later. So I'll let this one do his anger.
I'm not angry. I'm just correcting history.
With pure
Just
rage.
correcting
What
inaccuracies
you're
with
talking
pure
about.
rage. That's the shirt. Correcting inaccuracies with pure rage. All right. Well, we're going to hand wave the rest of the fun unless there's anything in particular that someone wants to get into. All right. As the night goes on, you can see that people are starting to turn out. They actually ask for individuals who are not part of the library to leave. This is before you can get to that last section. And just so you know, Satil,
Yeah.
you are. Hold on, just 1 second. Zastari, you are finished with your crafting.
Okay.
What did you make?
I made 2 book holsters. One of which has very heavy like wing motif along with a little bit of book motif, while the other one is much more elven and daggers in nature.
Okay. So you make your way back towards the ship, I assume, trying to locate the others. Somewhere along the way, Tangaroa and Ezra have slipped from Mello and Zora's sight. Mello and Zora make their way back to the ship, and eventually Satael works his way back as the moon is finally fully over, or at least on the rise, fully over the city itself. You can see now why they told you to wear something warm. As the evening falls on you, it is dry and cold, and there is a wind that seems to find every angle and turn of the keep and blows through the clothing. You can even see the people there are wrapping up tighter against the wind as it whips and howls through. The little wagon that was full of crafts and interesting intricacies has now been buttoned up tight. The little gnome safe inside, probably having a bowl of soup with Brahm. There are a few lights on and few doors open as taverns and inns around on either side of the marketplace are open, and you can see lights on in the fort itself as people are taken to. A small voice pipes up as you can see Hannah making her way to you all, carrying a small piece of paper in her hand and waving at this. As she approaches, she can say, "I have an official summons for you all. They've been asking us to come to the keep they've at. It seems like my master, the patron that you've all been asking about for so long, has finally asked for you all to come and meet him. So, where's the rest of you?"
Librarying.
Leather worker.
I see. We should really gather them all around. And you watch as she kind of closes her eyes and casts out. Eventually, small messages reach the individuals who aren't gathered, and asks for you all to meet her at the keep itself. This
I'm
includes.
already
You reply with "already there" in that tone.
Yep.
Okay. Tangaroa and Ezra.
Of course, we had.
Okay. Eventually, all of you meet at the keep, where you are greeted by a Maudlin who is wearing very nice robes, not the plain brown ones that you see, but you can see that there are workings in there of iconography of a god, but you're not recognizing it as one of the pantheon that is currently existing here in Edgermon. He greets you and introduces himself with a slow, lazy drawl. "Hello, my name is Gantha. It is a pleasure to make all of your acquaintances, and especially for looking after my charge. Tonight, you'll eat with me and the rest of the leaders. come on inside. And with that, he motions you all in, and we are going to take a short break. If you guys want to give us about 10 minutes, let's say, how about half of the hour? Half an hour? Yeah, well, at the half of an hour. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes or so, where we will pick up the story inside of the keep, sitting at the table with the rest of the Maudlin leaders that are here. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are watching The Escorts with Dire Bear Adventuring Company. I am Keith, the Dire Bear GM, and again, we really appreciate you guys being out there. If you would, I'll have almost called you Ezra. Q, if you could post up another tweet, and then if we can get some people to circulate that, that would be great. We'll see you all soon in a moment.
A pair of jeans, a shirt or two. We didn't pack as if we weren't going back. It doesn't matter if it's true. I've got a feeling love will give us what we lack. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. Yeah. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. I wanna take it all in, I'm falling. The cityscape by night, wanna catch in my photos. Where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights. Tomorrow feels a year away, like the seconds, the beginning and the end. But if in time it's yesterday, your picture's gonna bring it home to me again. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. I wanna take it all in, I'm falling. The cityscape by night, wanna catch in my photos. Where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights. Wishing that I could run away with you. Imprison my fear, just pull me away, pull me away. Secret fantasies of me. Will they ever see the light of day, light of day? I don't know where you are, but I will find you. I will find you. prison my fear, just pull me away, pull me away. Secret fantasies of me. Will they ever see the light of day, light of day?
I've been running for so long, unclear about the path I was on. I was breathless, my heart restless. Every turn felt like it was wrong, but I kept going to show I was strong. Pushing to my own song, but you came, you made me see the weight I put on me was too much, too tough to
I just looked down to see these two idiots in the corner being idiots, and I love them. All right, everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for being patient with us. Short break there to refresh drinks and make cocoa and act like idiots, I guess. Anyways, much love to all of my family here. So, welcome back, everyone. I am Heath, aka the Diabear GM. I am your host this evening, and we are playing Escorts. Well, we're playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. The show is called The Escorts. Not that kind of show, though. Anyways, we are in the midst of having dinner with Maudlin, who is given the name of Gantham. The patron, the man who is, or the person who is responsible for funding all of Hannah's research and the trip and everything else that she is on. He seats you at a very large table in a not unmodest but not like opulent eating area. Servants bring out food and set them down before you, asking you what it is they can entertain you with in regard to drink, and they tell you what selection of foods that they have available for you this evening. The servants are of all different races, but most of them of the fair. Humans, elves, half-elves, things like that. You are fed very fine food. The table is surrounded, is a really small affair. It's you guys, and then the Maudlin, and he introduces the rest of them to you. As they come and take the proper seats, you can see that he is happy to introduce them. He stands and motions to each and every one, and as he does so, he speaks loud. Here you're going to see to my left. I've lost all of my notes. Yay! Cool. So we're going to do this as we go. I'm going to edit your guys' notes so that way we can have them there. He says, you've already met me. My name is Gantham, and I'm the spiritual leader here. To my right, we have our arcane master. All things that deal with magic and what have you go through him. Give me just 1 second here. All right, there we go. Got him saved for you guys. Introduces the arcane leader. All things that have to do with magic, whether that be through learning, or happen to be blessed with it. Langaman is his name. And you watch as Langaman stands up and bows to you slowly. To my immediate left, to my right is Langaman. To my immediate left is our martial leader. All things that have to do with military and ordnance, what have you. This is Ordina. You can see Ordina stand, and she bows to you all. The rest of them are wearing robes. This is the only one that's wearing some sort of armor, and it's a beautiful breastplate armor that seems to be carved and inlaid with filigree. It almost looks like an ornamental piece, but you can get the idea that it's more than that. And finally, we have our sage, all things learned, and the keeper of the library. This is Dietra. And Dietra stands and bows to you. It's hard to get a read on where Dietra stands on any spectrum, and refers to himself in the third person. It is Dietra's pleasure to make your acquaintance.
We found the Khajiit.
Yeah, it is Dietra's pleasure to make your acquaintance. Questions arise about your adventures that found you at the old keep, and questions about what you saw there and the keystone itself. Ganthaman asks if who is it that is in possession?
Zora kind of raises her hand.
Ah,
Mike's on your dome piece.
Zora raises her hand.
I see. It is the piece that I was looking for, if you don't mind. May I? And holds a hand out for
He pulls it out and hands it over to him.
Thank you very much. Takes a look and looks at it, and his hands are a little bigger than yours, and he just kind of looks at it and holds it up. It's such an interesting thing. It's at the same time innocuous. Doesn't seem to be much of anything, does it?
What is it exactly? I mean, I've looked at it and tried to read the magic in it, and it nearly blinded me. Well, it did blind me temporarily.
Well, that's what we hope to discover. There are some who say that this is the origin of all things magic. There are others who say that it is the cornerstone of how the world was made. That within this contains the origins of all things. What I really think it is just more of a conduit, a way to latch on to the weave and strengthen and empower things. My job here is to study it, catalog it, and understand it. We are people of learning. And he sets it down on the table, kind of in front of him.
Are there other stones like it, or is this thought to be the only one?
Far as I know, there might be others, but none that we've come across.
How would you even start to catalog something like that?
Every process has a starting point. I guess this will be the starting point for the process.
Can I be there for the part of the process where you poke it with a stick?
I'd like to see somebody pick it up.
I mean, he had it in his hand.
Oh.
Zora handed it over.
Well, I meant like I meant like I like to see if it does what it did to me to anyone else, or if it was just like a one-time deal. Like, will it be passed amongst hands at one point, or is it just gonna go to him?
You don't know.
Meh. Okay.
All right.
I was just asking.
And I was just answering. So, looking around, you can see that each of them has their kind of heads looking in that direction, and some of them are looking at the orbs. You can see that your martial leader, Ordina, is kind of picking at food and just kind of looking at this orb and just doesn't really seem to give it much more than a cursory glance, other than to kind of narrow her eyes once in a while. The sage, Deetra, hasn't eaten anything, isn't excitedly standing next to Gantham as opposed to in her chair or in their chair, and is just kind of almost wringing hands as they're looking at it. Deetra will have a chance to study the orb, I hope. Of course, Deetra. Everyone here who is a scholar will get a chance to look over the orb and try to help decipher its use and its meaning and its purpose in this world. Deetra thanks you for the opportunity and goes and sits back down, but is constantly still like taking glances at it as though it's a lover across the room, just kind of. The arcane leader, Langaman, just is sitting back and seems to be very thoughtful. Doesn't seem to really react much to it. Gives it a few stares, a few glances, a look here and there, but mostly just kind of observes it at a distance. Are there any questions or anything else that anybody would like to ask about?
I might caution you, beings of power may come after it. We were attacked, beset,
Set upon.
set upon by a Bahir on our way here.
A Bahir?
Who could sense its existence?
He also had magical items back in his den.
As though he were collecting them.
Magical items and coin, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Well, that is disconcerting, but not unheard of. There's a lot of gathering of magical items.
It also seems to possibly affect people. Hannah is very capable, and I have no doubt in her skill at all, but it seemed to react badly with her during the end of our trip, prior to before we encountered the Bahir.
He looks
very quickly.
He looks at Hannah, who is now sheepishly looking at whatever's on her plate but avoiding his gaze. She kind of clears her throat. It's true, what do they say? I can do no more than apologize for the troubles that I caused you.
It's not your fault if something else drained your, for all we know, life essence.
It wasn't any trouble. I think we were all very concerned.
She kind of sniffles, and
we're glad you're safe.
And I appreciate your concern.
Nat 20.
For what?
Oh, sorry.
Gantham seems to be giving her a glare, not a glare, but a gazing at her, like studying her. You can look at the arcane master, who is also kind of tapping his snout as he's looking at her, and she seems to be, she's small already, but she seems to shrink even more away from the gaze. The meal winds on, and eventually everybody retires for the evening, with the exception of Gantham and Langaman. The servants clear everything away, and they bring you some like a. It's basically like a coffee, but it's more like a cafe au lait, sweet. And they sit with you, and they slip away. They'll come and gather them later. Sorry, man, I'm losing my voice here all of a sudden. As you watch, Langeman and Gantham have gathered closely, and they're looking at it now, and they're keeping very quiet tones. The cafe au lait seems to go down easily, and eventually find yourselves being ushered out. However, Satil and Zora and Ezra, Gantham, as you are getting ready to leave, says, it would be really nice if I could see the three of you again. I have some more questions about what you reported concerning our friend Hannah, who Hannah has also retired for the evening, leaving her half-drunk cup of...
Like what?
Just her behavior prior to and afterwards, and anything else that you might have noticed.
I have time now to answer questions, if you'd like.
Well, perhaps it is better to get it fresh while it is in your memory. Come with me, if you would. And he gathers up the orb and then starts to walk, leading you towards one of the entrances or one of the exits to the room. He leads you up a short flight of stairs, and you find yourselves in a long hallway. Then he opens up one of the rooms there, and you can see that it's nice. It's not opulent. It's not overly decorated, but it is a very nice room. There's a work table. It has several different components on there, reagents and things like that. He walks over and sets it on this kind of little bowl-shaped thing. He sets the orb down there. You said that... Describe to me again how Hannah behaved before, when the orb was there.
I mean,
At what point in time?
Prior to the Bahir attacking.
Well, she was... As I scroll up in my notes...
As I look through my notes.
Basically.
From Ezra's point of view, it would have... Not that she was possessed. Sorry. Not that she was possessed, but her moods shifted. She was always excited and willing to go down and explore and wanting to find what was needed, but it must have had a sort of altering effect of sorts.
she was fine the morning we left. And then as we traveled, like within a couple hours, she nearly fell out of her saddle asleep.
Taking on.
She also started thrashing really badly too, but that was because something was warning her about the Bahir's presence.
Her eyes
Or
rolled
she-
into
or
the
she-
back of her head, pretty much. Her eyes went
And
white.
then
Yes.
Would you say that it was perhaps prolonged exposure to the orb that caused these issues?
Well,
I mean,
for the most part, she kept the orb contained within a bag, but she didn't really touch it herself. The only one that really has, honestly, is Ezra. And it nearly knocked him on his ass and through a wall for the trouble.
When did this happen?
When we first
When I
found
first picked it up, it fought against me in a way.
I see.
At least that's, from my point of view, it just tried to force me back. I guess maybe a test of sorts.
What other potential issues might you see coming from this? Anything else that you'd like to report that you thought was maybe uncommon or strange?
afterwards, she did seem, once she woke up after we fought the Bahir, she seemed very distraught.
Distraught how? Explain more.
I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I know her, but I do not know her as well as some of you might. Like, I don't think it was a greed for it or anything such as that. Just maybe just a general sadness. She hung very close to Ezra after the Bahir attack.
I feel like that may have just been the trauma of the Bahir,
Possibly.
but
She was unconscious for most of that, though. For all of it, I believe.
I know it doesn't really speak, but maybe maybe it was what showed her the Bahir was coming. Maybe being attached to it for too long has some sort of maddening effect.
I'm fine, I think.
Prolonged exposure causing issues with it. Interesting. I would love to thank you all for your candor and your honesty in dealing with this issue.
Of course, we are concerned for her. We'd want nothing but for her to.
Of course. There where you found it, the location. Anything odd about that at all?
Was it inside of that creature, or was she holding it? All I remember is it appearing.
I think she was just holding, or you vanquished her and it appeared.
Yes. Okay, there we go.
So, well, thank you again for your time. I will hope to see you all again soon.
Of
So my
course.
note says the Banshee was carrying the keystone.
All right. With that, you are
Free to go.
escorted back out of the building.
I'll say before we leave though, Sati will stop at the door and goes, "Since we were being honest, why does it matter?"
Well, as part of understanding the properties of such a device, it's always good to understand more about it. And what better than what you have seen and experienced yourself while in it.
Yes, except you called us in here to speak about Hannah, not the keystone.
And I asked you questions concerning Hannah. I will ask you one more question. Did any of you, other than your friend Zora, who seems to be unfazed by it, come into contact with the device?
I haven't tried. And then he'll just walk over to it.
Gantham does not stop you at all.
Just slap it.
Just reach out and grab it.
Stick.
He just starts throwing it in the air,
No,
rubbing it
grab
on your body.
And
Rubbing
he
by
will.
himself.
He will, as an action. This will probably screw me over. Cast Identify on it.
This'll go well.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You cast Identify.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain starts to tell you, or the magic takes effect and starts to pick apart all of it. And as you do, you are flooded with a myriad of words and phrases and images, and it soon becomes such a whirling mass of things. It glows brightly, and immediately you drop it. And it doesn't bounce, it just hits the ground and stays in place.
There you go.
You stagger back from all of it. You understand nothing. It has no meaning to you whatsoever.
I'll just look down at it and go, how interesting.
What did you see?
He'll reach out, grab it, pick it up. That I'm wasting my time because I have another mission to attend. He'll drop it on the table and then walk out of the room.
In the bowl. Boom. It just sits in place. I apologize. Then is it something that we could help you with? Deetra and Langerman would be. I would.
Unless you can somehow figure out a way to save my home. When something is eating their brains and annihilating all knowledge that is contained within it, without touching any of the books, I doubt it.
Something's wrong at Jopus Landing?
Yes, my father contacted me before we left.
That explains your sour mood.
Speak to Langerman tomorrow, please. Here, and he walks over to his desk and he takes out a small piece of parchment and a quill and writes a quick note in there and then folds it and hands it to you. This should get you through, and Langerman should call it a favor that I've curried with him, and I'm calling on it now. He should be able to help you in some manner. Thank you again for all of your help. I will speak with Hannah.
She's not going to get in trouble or anything for this. She's fantastic.
She is a dear to us. We tend to keep to our own. Not that we have any issues with others, but our very nature seems to unsettle others, and inasmuch we don't overwhelm them with it. Hannah, however, is one of the few exceptions of those that we've accepted into the fold beyond help around the place. She is dear to all of us. Thank you again for all of your help. And with that, he goes over and opens the kind of, not rudely, but just kind of gestures for you all to leave.
Tatiel just walks out without saying a word to anybody else.
Walks out with no answer. Just.
Yeah, he's gone.
Zora will kind of give a bow and then just be like, "What is your problem?"
Ezra will give a deep bow and then he will leave.
Okay. As you all exit the room, the door closes. You make your way out of the building, and passive perception for the three of you.
18.
16.
15.
Okay. Somewhere in the height of the tower itself, you watch as a little brighter than normal glow seems to take place.
Where we just left.
Ezra, you're the only one that notices it. Like out of your periphery.
Does it seem like an explosion or is it just in a room?
It seems to be in a room. You're not really sure which one because of the size of it and moving through it. But it seems to be coming from somewhere when you're standing looking at it. It would be on your left-hand side, which was in the general direction of where you had dinner. It doesn't seem like an explosion. It's just like and then it kind of pulses slowly down, like a flare, and then it tapers off.
Huh. Can magic flare? It's a question I'd ask out loud, sort of. But
Can Rick flare?
Can Rick flare?
There are many forms of magic that can do so, yes.
Want me to show you one? Oh wait, no, I'm not there. Sorry.
Just ready to jump on that. I love that.
Prestidigitation, fireworks, fireworks, fireworks.
You call
All right.
for a show. It's towards the dining hall?
It's in the direction where you guys had your. Not. It seems above it because your dining hall was like on the bottom floor.
Oh,
Seems like
okay.
It was higher up than that.
So, like, perhaps it could be rooms of sorts?
Maybe.
And we could go back in and ask.
True. Don't see why not.
All right.
I wanted to see something, sorry. Facial trait.
I need to ask Eric a question. I will message him. Hello, Eric.
Yes, hello, hi.
Just gotta find you in the list of people that I have on instant messaging here.
Could I see anybody in that room? Or was it just the flare?
Just the flash.
Okay. Unless it doesn't seem out of the ordinary, I don't see why we couldn't check it out.
Just the three of you.
Is that a threat?
That's a question. Jesus, calm down.
Oh my
Threatening
god,
us
we
with a
gonna
good time?
die?
It's not a clothing store. It's not gonna try to murder you. It's a puppy making place. This is full of puppies.
Yay! It gets eaten
And they
alive.
stay puppies forever.
Oh, they must
No.
have some anger issues. Maybe. I don't see why not, unless the other three of the party are close. Bye. Just all leaning on a fence like a cool gang waiting for us. We're friends. Boy.
Snapping.
West Side Story. Looking out of his guilt,
you-
no.
You get the idea that they've already moved on to wherever their sleeping quarters are, probably back to the boat.
Okay.
Yeah, because it wasn't just up there, blah, 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 blah. In a few seconds, it was, up there, conversation.
Yeah. Okay, does the flare happen more than once, or does it just go out and stop? I guess that's my next question. It
Just ones
dims
that
out.
you saw. Mm-hmm.
Unless either of you can feel some sort of magic from it, I guess. I don't know why
I'll
we
give you
could-
an idea of what it is. Have you ever been in like a dark room and somebody strikes a match and that immediately flare of the match is really dims down?
Yeah.
That's what it was like. It was like,
So like a match being lit, perhaps just a lantern being lit? And
no, I mean,
then
it was
Big?
way brighter than that. But I was giving an example of
yes. Okay. Well, it's up to you two, I guess.
Because of the metagaming pigeon, there's windows.
you
What-
even saw
what-
one in Gantham's room.
Where was it at again?
I'll point.
Just point in the general direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind
Third
of just
one from the
touches
left.
herself on the chest and casts fly,
Cool.
and goes up to look in the window.
Okay. Even though you're flying, which is quiet, give me a stealth check.
Well, this will go well.
Just magic carpet.
Didn't go bad. 16.
What was that? 16? Okay. A postroll. Okay.
Oh no.
You
Somebody catch
fly
me.
up. You don't seem to see anything. Most of the rooms are dark. Some of them are lit. You can see Langeman. No,
He
you
does
can
have
see.
dark vision.
Okay. You do see Ditra, who is currently looks like getting ready to go to bed. As you fly around, you see. You're not sure whose room it is. It looks like maybe Gantham's room, but you see that Langeman is there talking to Gantham. And while they're having a discussion, it appears to be not heated per se, but they're both very adamant on their points. You know, it's like one of those, neither one of them is budging, but they're not angry at one another.
Looks over at Axel. I need to know what they're saying in there.
Of course you do.
Is there an open window that she can kind of be like, in with it, go in, throw the pixie in?
Well, the pixie can fly, so
She don't care. Fastball.
Awesome.
straighten him out like a lawn dart and just chuck him into the room.
Just,
He just hits the other wall.
just shove him in through the mail slot. It'll be fine.
Right.
Suck it in. Suck it in.
Pushing on his back. Get in there. Come on.
They just kind of oozing him into the mail slot. It's okay, I don't need bones anyways.
I was gonna say he died like 30 seconds ago, but you're
Still pushing him in.
God, no, she's horrible.
He's just twitching on the other side of the mail slot.
He's like a little fairy, but he's got the like body and bones of a ferret.
That's now terrifying. Because I love the way ferrets move. They're just all over the place, and now I've just got the image of
They
this
jump.
sprite who's all noodly. I mean, he's bipedal with 2 arms, but he's noodly. That's gross. All right, so yeah, Axel can get to the window that's there.
She'll just kind of be like, just give me the gist of it.
All right, and he flies over. Hang on just 1 second here. He listens in intently as you watch. You can see in the darkness his head going. He flies back to you after a few minutes, and about that same time, you watch as Langeman opens the door and leaves the room, leaving Gantham in there alone. He flies back to you and he says, well, they were talking a lot about some sort of orb thingy. Is it the same one that you had?
Yeah, that one.
They were talking about trying to open it up?
Open it. It looked solid.
Mm.
I mean, maybe a metaphorical opening it up.
Sure. Whatever that's supposed to mean. It's fine by me. It seemed like Langeman was a bit, or the one fellow was a bit reticent about opening it up. The other one was not really reticent about opening it up at all. It seemed like he was all gung for it.
Well, there's always going to be 2 opposing forces in this, I suppose. As much magic that's in it, it could do who knows what.
Can I tell you something that I've been kind of hiding? Because it seemed like it was safe with you.
Sure.
I don't like that thing at all. It made me uneasy. I don't know if you noticed, but I was flying a bit far away from you because I'm not really a fan of it.
Uneasy how?
Makes me feel like my skin's on wrong.
I wish you would have told me. I would have handed it over to someone else.
But I trust you. Don't necessarily always trust everybody else.
Fair. Oh.
Give it to Mello.
So fine.
I don't
Give it to Archibald.
Give it to the chicken. Put it on his back and let him be the danger.
Don't let him eat it. The danger
The
chicken.
chicken. The one eating the
Save his
rock.
plate.
Could we possibly eat him?
Have you had it to you before that makes you feel like your skin's on wrong?
Are you familiar with the term ley lines? You know what those are?
I've heard of it. Satiel probably knows more about it, could give a dissertation on it, but
I'm pretty
I've
sure
heard-
Satiel knows the shape and circumference and size of every one of the guards.
probably.
He could tell you. Every god. This one's bleaching. I regret nothing.
I regret so many things.
Anyways.
I can
ley
also
lines-
hear you.
You're not
We're
that far
still
away.
up by the window.
They're up by the
know.
window. You're down on the ground. You can't hear
I know.
shit.
I'm being a turd. Leave me alone.
She's looking around for an
Finish your
owl
mellow yellow.
somewhere.
Who?
Oh, there might be an owl up there just staring at you.
Staring holes in you. It's ley lines are where all they're the magic lines, and when they come together, there's a
Place of power.
right, exactly. If you
Those-
stand too long around one of those, it sort of makes you feel that same way, but not to that degree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like that's a concentrated ley line. Like,
Like whatever's it's made of, whatever it's for. If somebody's talking about opening it up, I'm not sure that I really want to be a part of that.
yeah, like opening up a bomb.
Oh, what?
I heard a trader talking about it. They use it for mining to, or maybe it was from a store. I don't know. Let's go back down.
I got you. And this, he sits on. You feel his weight like on your shoulder this time.
Kind of gives him a pat and flies back down. So they're trying to crack it open like an egg. Well, kind of an egg. Two
Well-
opposing theories of the egg can.
Well, considering I just stared into the heart of a ley line, that's a bad idea.
Oh, so you knew too.
Oh, yes, I knew what it was, mostly. The identify spell didn't pick up anything, but it's kind of hard to mistake that sheer amount of magical power for anything else.
It's like she kind of thumbs to her shoulder. It's like it made Axel's skin crawl the whole time. He said,
In what way?
like a ley line.
And Axel, it's more like take all the skin on your body and twist it just about a degree to the left or right, or it doesn't seem to fit right, like your eyes are just kind of askew. That's what it felt like.
Like you hit your head kind of, and everything feels a little bit off.
I please tell me that Ezra just made that face, like, because he's gonna go exactly. It's not comfortable at all.
Ezra's just like
know.
looking between them, like,
Well, there have been documented cases of extremely potent sources of magical power sort of giving that effect to people. I'd suppose being a magical creature yourself, it might be a little bit more pronounced to you.
Well, particularly since part of me is Fey. It's true.
That would do it.
The part of me being from the head to the toes.
Yes, I would assume you're a bit more attuned to the currents of magic in the Feywilds.
True, but I'm not sure what that was. I can't call it a ley line or anything. So that it was more powerful than that. But either way, I don't want to know what it's going to do to anything.
More powerful than a ley line.
Well, I mean, the line itself's nothing. It's just a direction like a river that flows. It's
It's more
The
powerful than one of the
conjunctions.
confluxes.
yes, exactly one of the more powerful than one of the confluxes.
That is troubling. Especially for something that powerful being contained in something so small.
Well, it's pure concentrated destruction. That's what it is.
Precisely. If you crack that thing open, that'd be the pressure differential alone would annihilate this keep, if not the
Should-
entire isle. And that's just the absolute tip of the iceberg of what that level of concentrated magical power could do if just unleashed with no direction or control.
I would like to say that there's even more concern there. What if, and hear me out on this one, what if they can control it? The explosion is terrifying in and of itself, but what if the bastards are smart enough to understand how it works?
Smart kind of tends to be their game. Should we have given it to him?
Did we have a choice?
I mean, we have a choice, but we also didn't have this information before, or it wouldn't really be safe in anyone's hands.
No, I wouldn't. If they're able to control that much amount of magical power, that's... There aren't many nations that could stand up to that much amount of power under direct control, if any.
They don't seem to be like wanting any. Like, they don't seem to be like someone that goes out conquering.
There are many different things that can be conquered. Knowledge, lives, nations, planes.
Trains and automobiles. Real quick, I would like to give a huge shout to Bubba for 7 months of subscriptions. Thank you so much for your continued support. We really appreciate that. He gets the unique pleasure of finishing up a private game that they've got me coming out to run tomorrow, as well as starting Call of Cthulhu. I think we're going to be making characters tomorrow, so that should be fun. Anyways, back to the game.
Nice.
Having this conversation on your way, I assume, back to your quarters. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Zoro
Sorry.
can look over like, are you okay? You've been short with everyone all day.
No, I'm fine. I'm just dealing with world-shattering phenomena that I've found myself wrapped up in, while something is currently eating the memories and knowledge and just in general mindfuckery of basically destroying my home. No, I'm totally fine.
I mean, if you gotta put it that way.
I don't think Hannah has anything else for us to do here. And I doubt they want us helping research the egg thing. We could always go back to Jopus Landing.
Well, first we have to return for your horses, remember?
That's when
Buttercup would hold. He's a good
Not
horse.
there, she wouldn't. Someone would steal her in very short order.
I think the entirety of Jopus Landing trumps a horse. In fact, I'm pretty damn sure.
Honestly, if we just get a cart, go back for your horse and the other one, hook it up to the cart, we could make the travel faster on land than we could on the open sea.
And we talk to the others, see what needs to be done.
That was going to
See
be
what
the
we want to
plan.
do about the
Sorry.
giant world-destroying egg. Well, small world-destroying egg. Basketball, keystone, grapefruit.
Bochi ball.
a solid peach.
The one thick croquet ball.
Maybe for you, Ezra.
Thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
Considering you've got about twice the height on most
The
of us.
Boko Ball of Destiny.
A Boca ball of destiny.
But no, I would really like to figure out what it is that's attacking my home again. And if it is that hag that got away.
We finish what we should have started before.
Yeah. If it is
Finish
that
what we should
hag,
have finished. Yes, that.
if it is that hag, she's not getting away again. I will make sure of that.
Well, let's get back so we can get back to Job Ascending.
As you make your way in, is there anything else for the evening before I hand wave this on?
Yeah. Satya will sit down in the room, sort of off on his own. He'll try to mentally reach out for Miliandra. See if she responds.
She does. And there is kindness in her tone.
I need your advice. Again,
Of course.
I don't know what to do.
What is it, my child?
My home is being attacked again.
Hmm.
Trying to figure out what it might be. And it turns out we just handed what is effectively a condensed conflux off to somebody. And I'm not even sure what to make of that. Or is there anything we even can do about that? Also, was that, when I picked up that scimitar of speed earlier, was that you being very angry at me about that?
That blade is not worthy of you.
Okay, that was you. Okay. Alright.
You will never win a battle on two fronts. Some problems will keep, others will not. The only advice I can give you is to choose whichever you feel is the larger issue. Your home may stand, but if the world doesn't. But maybe the issue that you see here, you think is a world-destroying issue, but isn't, and your home is under attack. I can only tell you that I feel that no matter what your decision, your friends will help you. They'll back you.
You know, Leandra, I'm starting to get the feeling that there's something more to this. Like, I understand that there's more I need to learn, but there's some underlying message or a lesson that I'm not entirely grasping yet of what you're trying to teach me.
Mm. Like trying to remember a dream that's fleeting from you.
Yes, a little bit like that.
Well, what would you truly learn if I gave you all the answers?
I mean, honestly, to quote my father, there is nothing worth learning that is given away for free.
Wise man.
He is.
I will only give you this advice. Always go with a larger picture. Because even if you save the small one, if you save the work of art, but in the process, the gallery is destroyed, what have you truly done?
Acted selfishly.
Sleep well.
He does not, in fact, sleep well.
No! But
He does not.
he does sleep, just not well.
All right. Anybody else? Anything? You're on mute.
I got to go get a drink and then forgot to unmute everything. Are we sitting in like a common room
Mhm.
area, and you just kind of
Yeah.
went off into a corner, Eric?
No, he
I
went back to
assume-
his
went to his
room.
Oh, you
room.
went to his room.
Yeah, he went to his cabin.
Yeah, he's been very quiet and withdrawn pretty much
Yeah.
the entire trip since we left the port.
Zasari's gonna just see who's all left in the common area chatting. And then she is also going to just slip out. And
I don't know about the party, but there's a few members of the crew of the ship, but they're not gonna say boo or anything. They're
Okay.
just gonna let you go.
she's gonna head to the cabin that Satiel would have been staying in, and then just knock on the door.
Yes.
Do you have a minute, or perhaps a few?
Yeah, one moment. And he'll just open the door. Yes?
I was wondering if you could help me with something.
Depends on what that might be.
Well, I have a feeling that you'll be able to help me with this a lot more than Zora will. I've been thinking about it. My brother got awful close to taking me home, and I don't think he would have been able to get that close if I had ways to protect myself magically. I understand that this isn't going to be something that's just going to come easily and that I'm gonna have to work for it. But, would you teach me how to spellcast?
Hmm. He's just quiet for like a few minutes as his brain just starts thinking that one through. Just sort of staring off into nothing for a second before just coming back to look down at her again. So your reason for wanting to learn magic is protection of yourself.
Yes?
Hmm.
I mean, it's not like I need to worry about protecting any of you. You're all very capable enough on your own. And besides, I don't need all of you having to chase after me again in the middle of the night because somebody's shown up and stolen me out of my bed because they cast a spell of silence over the room.
Hmm. Well, learning the arcane arts, the way I've learned them, is something that takes a very long time. If you want me to teach you, I will leave you with 2 questions that I want you to think very hard on and come back to me with an answer later. The first, what is it that you believe the weave to be? Secondly, how is it that you believe you will be able to take a part of that weave and become a part of the greater tapestry of magic as a whole? Those are the first 2 questions that my father asked me when I expressed my desire to learn the arcane arts. If you wish to learn them as well, you have to know the answer to those 2 questions. And you have to make sure that you are speaking the truth to yourself. Otherwise, you will not be able to connect to it at all.
That sounds fair. Although I must ask, how surprised would you be if I could tell you the answer to both right now? You say think on it, but I'll tell you, the only thing I've ever been able to cast without question was message. And that's just because, well, all elves can do that.
Elves are naturally inclined towards the weave, yes.
So, what do I believe the weave to be? The weave is a tapestry of magic and mundane and those who can manipulate it either through magic or through the deeds they do and change fate the way it wants it to be. We are sometimes the weaver of our own fates, and sometimes we are not, and sometimes you can't tell the difference between the two because they are not one and the same. Or they are one and the same. And how I will take the weave and bend it to my will, well, that will be through not force, but careful manipulation. After studious hours and countless hours of practice, to be able to do so safely and to not harm those who could possibly get in the way of such a spell.
Mm.
Does that satisfy you?
You're starting to learn.
And besides,
However,
I've sat here and
there's
listened to you talk about magic and whatnot for the last 4 months. You tend to
and
pick up a
there's
thing
the
or
crux.
two.
There's the crux of it. See, me teaching you how to use magic, you won't be able to do what I do. You won't be able to do it how I do it. This is why I told you to reflect on it and find a meaning that is intrinsic to you, a way that you alone will be able to understand it. That is not something that can just so easily be put into words. It is something that takes weeks upon months, sometimes even years of trying to understand. It took me 2.5 years to find my trigger in order for it to click to how to borrow a part of the weave's power. Furthermore, as to the trying to do things safely, yes, that is important. But there is something else in there too that you must understand, is to be a magus, to be a caster, a sorcerer, a wizard, warlock, any of those things. You have to walk hand in hand with death.
Not to put a light on the entire situation, but I think I'm pretty familiar with walking hand in hand with death.
Are you? You know how to put it, you know how to dish it out upon the end of a blade. You know how to stare it in the face. But do you know it intimately enough to see it within the conflux of reality? To be able to see where that line is drawn and to
How
walk that razor edge.
I have a question for you. How late do you plan on staying up tonight?
I have things to meditate on, if that's what you're asking.
Then perhaps tomorrow. And I will tell you how intimately I know death. Because there is a lot from where I am from that you do not know.
We will see.
Also, not sure if you'll have any use for this, but considering the fact that you have, shall we say, upon conditions, agreed to assist me, I would like to give this to you as thanks, whether or not we actually continue on with magic studies together or not. It's yours as a gift. Requiring no other thing back. And she's going to hand him the book holster with the angel wings and books embossed on it.
There you go.
Well, this is a mighty fine gift.
And it is to the dimension of your spell book.
Ah, that's what you needed it for. Well, should your answer be satisfactory, and should I believe that you have a proper understanding of it, you will be one of 2 pupils. Zora will also be joining us for these lessons, as she has expressed an interest in learning the arcane arts as well, or coming to a better understanding of them.
I have to ask, we haven't seen much of each other in the last little bit, but you seemed rather withdrawn and quiet during dinner, given the fact that we were in a place of extreme knowledge.
Yes.
Are you okay?
No. I'm trying to find the answer to... I am here in a place of great knowledge, where we effectively handed off a condensed conflux of ley line power.
I'm assuming that was the orb.
While I also find out before we even left to come here that my home is under attack.
Under attack how?
I don't know. It's what I'm trying to find out. Now,
Right.
I need to meditate over what knowledge I've gleaned, so thank you for the holster. Think on those questions I gave you. Really think on them. Don't just come to me tomorrow with an answer. This is something I expect you to take weeks to think over. And then we will discuss it later. Now, good night.
Good night.
He'll back up and close the door.
Right in her face. Thanks for the gift, by the way. Boom, shuts the door. Tenga and Ezra. The night isn't fully gone yet. What are you 2 doing?
Well, I'm probably gonna to
Lean in just a closer, we keep
like
losing
to
you.
go- ask if you would like to go on our dates. Night.
Yeah. Okay.
Seems so uncertain.
Uh-oh. I don't see why not. What are we doing and where are we going?
We could.
I
Make
muted
something-
it!
Go swimming.
You're not muted.
Okay. Oh my. Just talk closer.
We could, there we go. We could find something to eat. We could
Shit, all that
swimming
cinnamon.
off the docks. Could whatever you would like to do.
We just ate.
Well,
I have the water breathing potions. Go swimming, I guess.
like that.
Okay. We go swimming. I take bite.
So we're on the ship, right?
Yeah.
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 All right. Can I show off and do just like a really cool like swan dive straight off the side of the ship into the water.
God.
Why are you asking me? Fucking do it.
Whompam! Into the water.
I want to do that too. I feel like I've jumped off the ship like that. Mom's used to it by now.
Mm-hmm. You're used to it by now.
I'm used to it by
And
now.
it's deep enough.
Perfect.
Yeah, wabam is not good water landing noises. You're absolutely right on that one. I just imagine both of you up into the water, just that just that sound.
Whoops.
Just the loss of air from your body as you just slam into it. All right, so the two of you are now swimming in the water.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
The
That's fun. I like it.
Okay.
I would like to find some sort of sea creature and very politely ask them, do you know where we can find the most beautiful reef to see something gorgeous beneath the waves in this area? I'm unfamiliar with the terrain.
What are you asking? Just
I want
a
to find any kind of sea creature.
sure. There is a salmon.
Yeah.
Who is excited to lead you away and starts to swim very rapidly towards what you can see as the mouth of a larger river. And as he starts to swim, you can watch as he breaches the water and then splashes back into it, continuing to swim and breach the water and slam back into it. He's confused as to why you're not doing the same thing.
I will be polite and I will try to do that the best I can.
Roll performance. God, please. Give me a performance check. There's been not enough dice rolling tonight.
Performance +3. Yikes.
8.
You breach the water and come back down kind of on your shoulder, and you realize the water at this point is a little more shallow than what you remember, and your head kind of goes clock onto a rock. There's a little bit of blood trickle.
Oh
You're
no.
going to take a point of damage, one point. And you just kind of look at Ezra. It's a little bit of fuck yes, that's the face right there. That's the face of success.
Are you okay?
Never better.
But you're bleeding?
Yeah. That does happen. We do have blood in our bodies. Sometimes
This
it comes out.
feels like one of my first dates. It's just so stupid and awkward.
You just hit your head. Should we head back?
No.
No.
No. We're having fun, right?
Underneath all my worry for the fact that you just hit your head. Yes?
Yes.
This is so awkward. It makes me uncomfortable.
The secondhand embarrassment is painful.
Oh.
It really is.
You know what? I'm just glad there's no dinner involved and cinnamon on the table.
Because I'll be perfectly honest with you, I know you two well enough that I don't even think this is Tugaro and Ezra.
This is canon.
This is the players just
I
being as
haven't-
awkward as they
well-
are.
How dare you be so correct?
God damn
How
it.
dare I be so accurate?
I guess lead the way then.
I'll lay on hands myself and just fix
Point.
it.
You can see that the salmon really is just leading you upstream because that, according to the salmon, is the most beautiful spot that he's seen. It does lead you to a rocky outcropping where there's a small flow of water that tumbles down over this edge. It's probably like 5 feet. It's not very far. But as you climb up, you can see that it has a wide open view for a long way. And off in the distance, you can see the craggy rocks climbing towards the sky that makes up some of the mountains on the northern part of the island. There's no light pollution at all, so it's really dark. But there is a spray of stars that seem to have covered the night sky, along with a very full and heavy moon.
No, that's pretty. I like that.
So as you look up there, yeah, it looks like somebody took a paintbrush that's wet and just went and then slapped stars in the sky. Some of them you recognize constellations that you travel by, but in here they're a little different, further north, as far north as you are. And neither one of you are really affected by the cold, but at the same time, it's a little. It draws you a little bit closer because it is a little cooler.
Oh.
And I'll leave it up to the imagine. That's so on brand. It hurts. I will leave the rest of the night up to the imagination as we fade to black from there. However, I would like to say that we'll pick up there next week with everybody waking up for the next day. But as you are drifting one more time off in the distance towards where you can still make out the keep, there's a little pulse of light. But instead of pulsing once, it goes boom, boom, twice. Thank you all for tuning in and watching tonight. It has been my absolute pleasure to be your DM, Heath, aka the Direbear GM. I want to thank all of my players. We had a lot of fun tonight. At least I did, I know. So huge thanks to, we're going to go in a different order, Sarah, who is playing as Zora with Axel, trying to investigate what was going on in the room. A very frumpy and angry Satiel, who had a nice long conversation with his guide, played by Eric. Mello, who was mostly quiet. I think that might have been on brand, or on purpose, rather. Played by Steve.
Just trying to stay out of everyone else's way. I mean, just watching the not date happen in the library.
More cinnamon!
Thank you to Zastari, who is starting to lay plans for a very unique item that will be coming in the future. Maybe, but did make some very beautiful looking spellbook holsters tonight.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the most awkward, adorable couple, Tangaroa and Ezra, being played by Molly and Q. So thank you all, and thanks to everyone who tuned in. Don't forget to show your love. You can join our Discord where we're always joking around and having conversations. You can always ask questions of all of our DMs. That includes me and Maddie and Q and anybody else in there. Eric is actually a DM, although not on one of our shows. He DMs Adventure League for us locally. Speaking of other DMs,
I have been working on writing up a homebrew that I may or may not see about DMing at some point.
Coming soon to Direbear Adventuring Company. Thank you also, captains. How to kill the relationships in 4 easy adventures. Huge thanks to JT the Man, Captain James T. Kink, Bubba, who is a subscriber for 7 months now. To I know that Sarah and Steve were both in chat tonight, so you can look back and see Funconscious and Grumpy Cleric, as well as Crying Ghost, which was Q, all in the chat tonight. Huge thanks to all of you guys. Remember, we do have our Patreon up, and we are going to be seeing our next person, which is going to be, let's see, I have done Zastari and Tunga, and I think I need to do Oh, and have I put Satiel up there yet? Okay, Satiel's be next, and then I think Zora, and then Mello, and we're gonna give Q more time. Actually, Q might go next because I really love people that are there. So I think it's fantastic. All the crew members. So we're
I
gonna
can
do
write
some
up a
fun
little
that.
better descriptions for that if you like.
Sure, if you want to. Anyways, tune in tomorrow night. We're going to be running. Wow, we're down to like the last of Esper Genesis, aren't we? And then we have you guys will be doing what Valley by Night, if I'm not mistaken.
Valley by Night. Yeah.
Yep.
Ideally, we're going to try to end on the 31st with Esper
And
Genesis.
we're going to take a week break, if I'm not mistaken, right?
The
Week
plan.
to week.
We're still debating that. It's either we're going to
Okay.
take a week break, or we're going to do a week break and then a session 0 to introduce the vampires to each other. Because that the World of Darkness is ironically a very dark world, so we need to be able to lay down guidelines of what we will do,
Awesome.
what we won't do, terms of service with Twitch, things like that. So
Excellent.
it'll be a 1 or 2 week break.
All right, sounds great. So we have Esper Genesis for at least a couple more episodes, and that's on Tuesday night. Wednesday, Q is running Monster of the Week, which if you've never played Monster of the Week, it is probably one of my favorite Powered by the Apocalypse games. Right, even more so than like City of Mist, which I ran a show for City of Mist for a while. I really like Monster of the Week. It's just a lot of fun. And then we have Thursday nights with Maddie, who is running Descent into Avernus, and probably it's getting up there with one of my favorite modules as far as like game goes.
I'm enjoying
Versus
it.
Strahd. Yeah, considering some of the previous modules kind of fell flat-ish with where they were trying to do. Their scope was great. Delivery for people who like, hey, I need to prep for this, and there was just a lot of all over the place.
I feel like Descent into Avernus requires some tweaking.
Mm-hmm.
It is really rough on early level parties.
Yes. If you're in the first encounter, if you don't play it right, where you're actually like getting the people there in the tavern in on the thing, it could go poorly for a lower level party, like a first level party.
Oh no,
Even
the
if
party
they're
handled that just
7.
fine. That was fine.
Oh, was it underneath the?
They're in the
catacomb?
dungeon. I had
Yeah,
to
the
give them
bathhouse?
an NPC that was stronger than all of them put together just to keep them alive.
Yep.
Yeah,
I hit my level
I
2 party with
died.
fireball, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
won't do that.
Yeah.
Although, Molly, and I can't apologize about this enough, I did kill you on Thursday night.
In one hit,
Yep. To be fair, you only had 2 HP left.
which I announced.
And I missed, because...
out.
So you can come watch all the tomfoolery Thursdays with Descent into Avernus.
Descent to Avernus. Get attached.
There you go. Don't like these guys too much. They may not be around. Descend into Avernus season 1. The party will die. Anyways, and then we'll be back again on Monday. Practicing social distancing, aren't we, kids? I'm staring at you two. Did you just cough in Q's direction? Do you want a pandemic? Because this is how you get a pandemic. All right. Anyways, in all honesty, wash your hands, take care of yourselves, stay away from people if you can. Play D&D online with your friends, and take care of yourselves. I say that as I go to a client's house tomorrow to run a game. Anyways, take care of yourselves, guys. Good night. Until next week. Bye.